Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special World Environment Day podcast by MRP Advisory Construction Series. Today, we are exploring how the Middle East is redefining sustainability through green buildings, smart cities, and innovative urban planning. Joining us is distinguished expert Mr. Nikolay Khomyak, Associate Director, SW Tenet, who will help us understand whether construction projects are truly the future of sustainable living.
Thank you so much, Rupa. Thank you so much, colleagues. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. And I do believe that this discussion will be really helpful and interesting.
Thank you so much. So let's begin with the first question. The Middle East is one of the world's largest oil producers, yet it's investing heavily in renewables. Isn't that contradictory?
Yes, very interesting question, in fact. So it may seem controversial, but in reality, the Gulf countries are not abandoning hydrocarbons. They are trying to use current oil reserves, revenues to fund a long-term transition. So this is often called green diversification. As a global demand for oil is expected to peak, it is economically rational and reasonable to invest in renewables while oil income is still strong. And what is also really interesting, the region's solar irradiance is so high right now nowadays that utility scale solar is now cheaper than natural gas in many cases. So the transition is not just ideological, but it also makes financial sense even without carbon pricing.
Okay. So, what does the much discussed $5.3 trillion net zero investment actually mean?
So the investment will come from a mix of sovereign wealth funds, such as Saudi PIF, Abu Dhabi ADQ, government mandates, private developers, and green financial instruments like green bonds. For buildings specifically, retrofits and district cooling upgrades account for over half of the needed decrease. And additional point is that what is often overlooked is that energy service companies are beginning to offer pay as you save models. So they pay for the retrofit upfront to recover costs from future energy savings. This removes the initial capital barrier. Yeah, and which is interesting. We often hear about factories and transport causing pollution, but buildings account for almost 40% of global emissions. So yeah, and the question is, why is construction such a big contributor, I guess?
Yes, there are two parts to the equation. So, first is embodied carbon, the emissions generated from producing cement, steel, glass, and transporting materials. And
For sure.
second is the operational part of it, the operational carbon, the energy consumed over the building's lifetime through cooling, lighting, elevators, water systems. So, in the Gulf, operational carbon is particularly high because air conditioning can amount to 60 to 70% of a building's energy use.
Absolutely correct. Yeah. So the built environment accounts for 40 to 45% of natural emissions in some GCC countries, slightly above the global average. And such things as extreme coolant loads, as you said, energy intensive desalination, and inefficient district cooling are the main reasons, in fact. And let's discuss factor that many buildings were constructed before modern energy codes and use single glazed windows. So simply adding external shading or reflective films can reduce cooling demand by 15 to 25, I guess, percent at very low cost. So the fact is, yes, absolutely, the percentage is very high, but we should work on them, and there are some ways and approaches how to do that.
So yes, but it also creates opportunities. So while cooling demand is enormous, the region also has some of the highest solar radiation levels, making solar energy extremely efficient and cost effective. So if we
Absolutely.
spend one day in a construction site, large construction site, where would we actually see carbon emissions being generated?
A very interesting question. So for sure, the construction side is something that is associated with much of all this pollutions and emissions, and the largest contributors, in my opinion, would be diesel power generators, heavy machinery like cranes, excavators, and others. And what is more, like concrete production, transportation also creates significant emissions, and do trucks constantly moving materials and waste. So yeah, there are many sources of emissions at the construction site. And so was some easy changes that could reduce emissions immediately, you could ask. And I would say that turn off machinery after
Yes.
3 minutes of idling, replace temporary site lighting with LEDs, improve logistics to reduce unnecessary transport, separate construction waste for recycling, really important thing, and
Very
install.
important.
Yes, and install shade structures, as I said, for workers and equipment to reduce cooling demand. So many of these measures require discipline more than investment, but it could help us to decrease emissions in general.
And it is such small steps, small
Absolutely,
conscious steps which needs to be taken in order to protect our environment. So true.
indeed.
So now there are so many certification systems. There is LEED, BREEAM, STDAMA, Mostadam. Do they genuinely, improve buildings?
The short answer would be yes. And what is interesting, what to choose, you may ask. And the choice is often jurisdiction driven. So STDAMA is mandatory in Abu Dhabi, Al Safat in Dubai, GSAS in Qatar, and etc. etc. So for projects seeking international investment or multinational tenants, LEED or BREEAM remains the standard. Local systems are increasingly climate calibrated and give credit for passive desert specific strategies. And when pursued rigorously, these certifications do change building performance. They require energy modeling, commissioning, post-occupancy verification. So the risk is when they are treated as a checklist exercise rather than a design driven.
Yes, yes. I mean, they require energy modeling, efficient water use, better indoor air quality, and ongoing performance monitoring. And
Sure.
is there a financial return?
Actually, yeah. So studies show certified buildings often command higher rental values, better occupancy rates, lower operating costs. So they also gain easier access to green financing. So in fact, it's really reasonable in financial matters and financial terms to utilize these green certifications because it's really helpful.
Yes, because we anyway have to live in this planet and cannot escape it. So it
For
is
sure.
better to implement those conscience-driven processes. So,
Yes,
Nikolai,
yes.
what technologies are changing sustainable construction today?
Uh, okay, I think there are some, and probably my first point would be quite obvious, maybe a little bit Marviton, but it's AI. I know everybody
Uh,
talks about AI, but AI really matters, also in construction, also in terms of environment. So yeah, the first point is AI-driven systems. So for example, we can take AI-powered building management system that optimize energy use, advanced cooling technologies like district cooling and smart HVAC. What else? Building integrated solar panels that generate electricity from solar while forming part of the building envelope, and many others. Actually, there are many things like that. And recently we were developing a sustainable strategy for one of let's say free zones in Dubai, and we were developing all these measures, so all these strategies, how to do that. And we were suggesting the systems like that. And it was a very interesting exercise. And actually, this free zone now is implementing that and seeing obvious results right now.
oh, excellent. That's good. So in the Gulf climate, rooftop solar can realistically offset between 30 to 60% of a commercial building's electricity demand if integrated from the design stage.
Yes,
So should we
yes.
focus more on retrofitting than building new cities?
I believe yes, we should, because around 60 to 80% of existing GCC buildings in this region were constructed before modern energy codes, and improving existing stock could deliver greater carbon reductions that building entirely new sustainable cities. So yes, sure, shortly answering your question, yes, probably yes, we should do retrofit.
We should be doing the retrofitting. And what about greenwashing? So greenwashing has become a major concern. How do
Absolutely.
we actually identify it?
So watch for vague claims like eco-friendly, net zero without data to support them, because it's really popular to say, the things like that and dub all the things like eco-friendly and net zero. But in fact, a truly sustainable project should provide such things as independent certification, measurable energy data, carbon reduction targets, annual performance reporting. Absolutely. Yes, and you may ask, can regulations help? So the answer would be absolutely, just because ESG reporting requirements and independent audits are becoming increasingly important in ensuring accountability right now.
ESG practices are really now governing, I think, the entire infrastructure, construction, real estate segment very broadly. It's present in such a mandatory manner that it's important for everyone to be conscious about environment friendly practices.
Yes, right.
So, so are you open to a rapid fire round?
Let's see. I am ready, surely, surely. I think it will be quite interesting.
Okay, so you don't get time to think, okay? I'm just going to
All
shoot
right.
out a question, and whatever strikes your mind first, you say
All
it.
right.
And
Deal.
let's start with a rapid fire question. Okay. Biggest sustainability myth.
Probably that technology solely and alone will solve all the issues and everything. So I don't think it's like that.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree. I always feel that, technology cannot replace the humanistic touch.
Sure, sure,
Definitely. So,
sure.
one
Same here.
innovation to watch out for.
I believe that AI systems like BMS, building management systems, are really fascinating, and I believe that they can lead us to great results.
So, AI is again governing everything. So,
In this case, yes. At least
it's
in
like
this
the
case,
bitter
yes.
pill. It's like the
Sure.
bitter pill. We need it, yet we need to be very mindful about using AI. So
Absolutely,
definitely, I
absolutely.
agree. Yeah. One innovation to watch out is definitely artificial intelligence. It can actually ease our lives a lot if
Sure,
we know
sure.
exactly how to use it.
Of course.
So now this next question, I think I know the answer. So it's retrofit or new build?
So surely my answer should be retrofit, but surely it requires some studying and scrutinizing in order to understand what is more reasonable. But I would say that in many cases you can choose retrofit because it's more reasonable and it gives you great results.
And for the Gulf, especially solar or wind?
Probably solar, just because of the climate, because of the temperature. I believe that solar, and we can see it right now. So many solar systems at many, many buildings in every country, in each country of the Gulf region. So probably solar. Yeah.
Yes. So one policy change needed.
Uh, yeah. I believe it may be mandatory whole life carbon reporting. I think it's quite important to do that. So yeah. Let it be that.
Yeah, because I think pollution levels are too high. It is time that it's put under control.
Definitely.
And the biggest challenge.
Um, Maybe behavior. So we need to change it, and so the answer would be behavior change. So we need to like to work on our minds, on our behavior before doing something. We need to change it in order to adjust our attitude to all this question and take a new look to all the things.
Yeah, and also I feel that it's for embracing the innovations because the world is constantly changing.
Yes,
So,
yes, true.
one big challenge is to accept that the change has come and we need to keep learning at every stage. So, whether it's the implementing authority or the consumer, we need to adapt to change. And that itself is a daunting task if we do not repair our attitude to change. So, yes, the
Yes,
biggest challenge, rightly said, behavioral change. So, even
completely
when
agree.
there is a new law or a new regulation that has been introduced, it takes time to accept it and then implement it. So,
Yes,
the
yes,
earlier you accept and implement, the better it is.
sure, sure.
And after challenges comes opportunity. So, what is the biggest opportunity?
I think there are many opportunities in sustainability. So we need to think about integrating sustainability into every stage of development. I'm pretty sure that there are many areas that, may be quite interesting and quite fruitful. So we can do something with that. So yeah, integrating sustainability into each step of development.
So, I think, that the ESG factor comes very important here because it's about implementing it and then maintaining those regulatory checks at regular intervals. So
Indeed.
sustainability, I mean, a simple example I'll give is we all do these plantation drives. We want to have a green planet, and it should not end with just sowing the seed or, putting the plant.
Yeah.
It is
Yes,
about
absolutely.
watering it. It is about taking care of it. It needs to be watered. It needs to be taken care. There has to be someone to take care of it. So the same concept applies here. So it's not just about creating it, it's about sustaining it, to maintain it. Brilliant.
A great idea. Yes, absolutely. Completely agree with you. Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about future maybe. So, if we meet again in 2035, what would success look like? I think many of our viewers may
Mhm.
ask. So, I think it's good to say that success would mean cities where buildings generate much of their own energy. Cooling systems are highly efficient because it's a big challenge right now in the GCC countries. Construction waste is largely recycled, and sustainability is embedded not only in technology but also in our daily behavior of governments, businesses, and just regular citizens.
So one thing I would say is that 2035, success means getting fresh air to breathe, getting a healthy body which is not affected by
Absolutely, yes.
environmental pollution. So
True.
hopefully, like in 2035, we have mastered all of it and are able to at least have a healthy place, a healthy planet to survive in. And of course, with sustainable buildings. So, where we are not destroying the planet and acknowledging the fact that it is sheltering us.
Yes, 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 that's true. Uh, okay, so what else we could say about this thing that the Middle East has the capital, have the ambition and the natural resources to become a global leader in sustainable construction. So the challenge is ensuring that implementation keep pace with vision. But I'm pretty sure that what we do right now and what Gulf countries are doing right now is very, very good. And I think that we are moving towards the right aim, and I believe that we will succeed.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's very important to have that vision to generate a good environment for everyone to live a healthy and happy life. And thank you for your views and enlightening discussion. So, World Environment Day reminds us that sustainability is not simply an environmental issue, it is an economic opportunity, a social responsibility, and an investment in future generations. So, thank you to all of you who have joined us today, and we hope today's conversation inspires all of us to think differently about the cities we build and the legacy we leave behind. Happy World Environment Day.
Happy World Environment Day. Thank you so much, Rupa, for the great discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much.